The president is touting a partial trade deal with China and a temporary truce in the U.S.-China trade war.
We've come to a deal, pretty much subject to getting it written. There's nothing bigger than what we're doing with China, and we've come to a very substantial phase one deal.
During an Oval Office meeting with the Chinese vice premier, the president announced phase one of a new trade deal. The truce means the U.S. will call off planned tariffs in exchange for China agreeing to buy $50 billion in U.S. agricultural goods. China says the result of ongoing trade talks is progress.
And here with us now is Stephen Moore, a former Trump economic advisor and a distinguished fellow with the Heritage Foundation. Stephen, thanks for joining us.
Hey guys, good to see you.
You too. So what are your thoughts? What do you make of this trade, this phase one, the good and the bad points?
It is progress, and that, the market's reacting very positively to when President Trump announced this. Everybody would like to see a trade deal done that provides more fairness and more of a level playing field. I'm someone who actually has supported, what Trump is doing in terms of trying to get China to behave itself, because we've been in an abusive trade relationship. But I also feel it's important we start to make progress. This has been going on for 2 years now. So this is a good start. It's not, look, this isn't going to, you were asking me off the air, how long is this going to last? This is going to be an epic battle that's going to last, maybe a decade or more. But this is a first step to lowering we're going to lower our tariffs on China. They're going to buy more of our agricultural products. They're going to, buy some more of our manufacturing products. And, they've agreed, whether they follow through it or not is not something we don't know the answer to. They've agreed to stop stealing so much of our technology and our intellectual property. It's a good start. It's a good start.
And that's my question. You just went right into it. Do you think that phase one, I know we're still early on in the process, that it will be enough to stop the theft of American intellectual property?
You never know. I mean, that's the toughest question you could ask me. By the way, I was with the president on Tuesday in the Oval Office, and we spoke for about an hour about the China trade situation. He's frustrated with the Chinese. They need to, step up here and make, more concessions than are in this deal. But it's a good start. It is. Farmers are hurting around the country. This will help our farmers. If on the intellectual property, that's the toughest part, because they may sign a piece of paper and say, yeah, we agree to this. The question is, will they actually do it? And so you're going to need enforcement. You need metrics that they're going to reach. And again, this is phase one. This is going to be a multi-phase effort to try to get a more balanced trade situation with the Chinese.
CNBC is reporting that China wants more talks before this phase one can be agreed upon.
Already they seem to be.
Yeah,
that's, this is why it's so tough to negotiate with the Chinese. I mean, this isn't the first time this has happened, right? We had a preliminary trade deal about 6 months ago. And remember, then the Chinese walked that back. So I don't know if the CNBC report is accurate, but it wouldn't be, surprising, because it's just really difficult to get them nailed down. I hope it's wrong, because it's good for China. It's good for the United States to get this done, to move the process forward. I think once they actually get it signed, sealed, and delivered, I think the stock market's going to take off. I think the economy will do wonderfully. It's the one thing that's kind of holding back growth right now.
From America's point of view, what else do you think China needs to do to keep moving the ball forward?
Oh my gosh, I mean, it's still such an unlevel playing field. I mean, their tariffs are still 3 times higher than ours are. They have so many restrictions on America, selling everything from our, toothpaste to our, blue jeans to our, barley and oats and corn, all of this stuff. It's really difficult to penetrate that market, number one. Number two, they have these technology transfer rules that if a company wants to do business in China, you have to give over your technologies and so on. So, this is really the first baby step in a long process to get China to behave itself. I mean, we were all following what's happened with the NBA, where they had this, the Chinese are not honoring human rights. There's no religious liberty in China. They are abusive to their own people. They're looking like they may, march in on Hong Kong. All of those things are the backdrop for this trade deal.
Yeah. Stephen Moore, good to have you. Thank you.
Thanks to have you guys.